Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. Another happy Monday. Sean, how are you? I'm Tony Haggerty. Hey, Haggerty. You know the drill. And I'm joined by Sean Martin, TCW. Sean, how you doing? Good weekend?
Very well, Tony. Aye, great weekend, you?
Yes, champion weekend, I think you'll call it. Trophy presentation day. All went rather swimmingly. Everybody went and had their individual parties and did, yes, Kookaburra sums it all up there. Hail, hail, champions of Scotland. Now, the housekeeping. First and foremost, Sean, we're delighted to have a new sponsor. We plugged it all week last week. We'll plug it again. And it's the One Football app, and it's your one-stop football shop for scores, news, lineups, transfer rumours, live streaming, match highlights, and much, much more. You can immerse yourself in the digital football world with the best personalised digital experience out there. Guys, get downloading this app, the One Football app. You won't regret it. It's cracking. And also, as you can see along the bottom, if you subscribe to the Celtic Way, you can support the top quality journalism that we hope we've produced all season. We'd like to think that we've done okay on that score, and it's £3 for the next 3 months. You know what to do, guys. Hit the subscribe button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Good morning to you, everybody. I hope the hangovers are still there and you partied and you enjoyed it. Sean, it was a trophy presentation day befitting of the season that Celtic have had. What a performance, what a game.
It was, aye. It was, a third 6-0 win of the league season?
Yeah.
Not even including the 6 that they scored in the 7.
I knew you'd have the stats to hand, Sean.
It was just the ideal way to sign off, wasn't it?
It was
my post-match piece on the site after it, which, by the way, you know what I'm like. Sometimes I'm quite slow at getting the words on the page, but they seem to just come right out on Saturday, and I think that all chimes in with the fact that the atmosphere, the way that they played, the way that Ange spoke, everything, it helps. So, I mean, I said in my post-match piece, which is still on the site, that the performance was kind of the ultimate compliment to Ange Postecoglou and what he's been trying to do this season. And what I meant by that wasn't necessarily that they scored a lot, although that obviously helped, but the way that they approached it, exactly like he'd want them to in terms of getting out there, playing their football, controlling the game, imposing their style, basically treat it as professionally as if it wasn't just a foregone conclusion at the end of the day. And that's why they ended up totally running roughshod over Motherwell.
Guys, if you want to read the post-match reaction from myself and Sean, log on to the site. Sean did his piece on that, as he's just explained. I went for the more emotional heartstring tearjerker with Ange and his father. So if you wanted to have a read at that, guys, you're perfectly entitled to. If you fancy a wee greet at mine, you can have a cry, and if you want to laugh, read Sean's and be a wee bit more upbeat, then you can read Sean's. We're everything to all men and women, Sean, on this pod and this platform. Guys, just keep your comments coming in. I want to know what he's did at the weekend. What a game, a fitting end to the season, says John Coyle. It most certainly was. And amongst it, Sean, we said goodbye to two stalwarts, two wonderful servants, Tom Rodgick and Neil Beaton. There was floods of tears in the stands when Tom Rodgick took his bow and he was crying, and all the players hugged him, and then Ange gave him a big hug. And that was quite an emotional thing, wasn't it, Sean?
Was I think we'll talk about the actual performance, but I thought Rodgick actually played well as well on his last game. But I think the club handled everything to do with Tom Rodgick and Neil Beaton's departures extremely well. From the announcement before the last game, which obviously let the fans kind of prepare to give them a proper farewell, to the actual game itself and asking them to kind of jointly take the trophy up to the plinth. Rodgick even having his moment. I know this is the subs and stuff like that are only really applicable given the way the game went, that he could afford to do what he wanted with the subs, that kind of thing. But Rodgick having his moment, getting subbed off, Beaton coming on at a different time, so it didn't take away from his moment either. I think the club and the management got it all spot on with the two of them. Yeah,
I mean, you touched upon the performance there as well. I mean, 6 cracking goals, Sean, and not a lot's been said of Georgios Giakoumakis' overhead kick and Anthony Ralston's pass for Kyogo's second. I want to talk about them, Sean. They were terrific individual moments of skill, and the finish from Kyogo as well. But you know, I mean, the minute Kyogo opened the scoring, you thought, okay, this could be one of those days. Turned out to be one of those days. You said the third 6-0 win of the season, but some wonderful passages of playing moments in the game, Sean.
It was, Patrick McLaughlin Kyogo's a class act. I thought it was kind of an opening 10 minutes where it was actually kind of slow.
And
then after that, it was just a total demolition after that, wasn't it? Yeah. Within that as well, I think pretty much every player did have a good game. Referee aside, by the way, who you don't want to start going down that neck of the woods, but I thought referee managed to squeeze in one more poor display before the end of the season. But but in terms of the players, Kyogo, Jota, McGregor, Taylor, why would I not mention Taylor at the end? I thought all superb. Yakimakis off the bench as well. What more can you ask off the bench? I mean, I made the point in the data roundup on the site yesterday. both Kyogo and Yakimakis only had 2 shots each, but they both scored 2 goals. And on Big Yakimakis, you can't tell me that he didn't know exactly what was going on with the scoring charts when he came on. He knew, he must have known. Not just with the Celtic ones in terms of being Celtic's top league scorer, but actually giving himself a chance of being the league's top scorer, which obviously he is. I mean, he just looks so driven to get a couple of goals, more so than usual. And I think you'll love to see that, and it bodes very, very well, I think.
His first goal's a belter, Sean. I mean, he's basically out-muscled Stephen O'Donnell. And then for a big guy to get up that height and to put it in the net the way he did, I thought it was quite a spectacular goal. Because he's very close, because you can easily sky that over the bar attempt.
He'd easily miss it totally. It happens. I mean, he has to not only time it right, not foul the Motherwell defender while he's using his strength, but then also manage to make the connection enough to get it in. I thought it was a great goal. I still think Kyogo's was the best goal of the game, but it's close.
Yeah, Tony Ralston's pass. Let's talk about that.
9th assist of the season.
And the finish, sublime.
Oh, aye, superb. Like more than a few comments came in after he scored that, saying if they didn't give out awards before the season had finished, that might have got goal of the season. Don't know if you agree with that or not, because it was still, I mean, the Rogic goal against Dundee United was still a cracker. So
yeah. No, listen, I thought those 2 goals in particular on Saturday were terrific. Real terrific. I just think it's a measure of how far Ralston's come on as well. You know, that he actually sees that run and it's a pinpoint pass. You know, and Kyogo's just taking it in his stride and made it look so simple, but it's such a difficult skill.
Aye. You'd Kaiser here saying, actually, that's a great point. The first goal was really difficult. It was a difficult finish through defender's leg, keep it at the near post. Even to take the shot on, I think, to keep it a wee bit by surprise because of the angle it was at and stuff. And as I say, that just kind of, once that went in, it was a demolition after that. I'd agree with that. And Isaac McQuaid reminding me that once again, being rinsed by big Carl Starfelt.
You should score the header, should you not, Sean? Were you on your feet?
I think so. But
you're on your feet at that point, celebrating. You're not. Oh man, there you go. But no, I thought he should have scored, and then he'd won it.
He did have a couple of chances,
wild swing it, wasn't it?
And the other player in that comment, it would have been nice for Rogic to get that goal, but obviously it kind of trickled off the post and stuff. But it was, you can't complain. You can't start talking about chances missed if you score 6, but still.
Your thoughts on Rogic and Beaton, Sean? I mean, they were terrific servants, but will they be fondly remembered?
I think both will be. I think Rogic more so than Beaton, which is why I kind of wrote a wee ode to Near Beaton on the site yesterday. It was just kind of taking in his legacy, just because he was very unfashionable as a player. He's never one of those guys. He's not got that. You see the highlights video. He was capable of the odd screamer, but more often than not, and when you kind of think back on Beaton's career, it's going to be the fact that it was part of such a winning machine over the time that he was here. Whereas with Rogic, he was part of that machine as well. But the moments that Rogic came up with were just so memorable in and of themselves. All the Derby goals, the Derby performances, and obviously the kind of lasting image is the Invincible season at Hampden. That's the lasting image. Beaton didn't really have any of those, but the kind of point I was making was he didn't really need them with the kind of player that he was. His success, his team success, the kind of role that he played. He was mostly reliable at centre-back. He was very reliable in midfield, that kind of thing. So I think both will be fondly remembered. Rogic slightly more so. The housewife's favourite, Tom Rogic. That mantle just goes to you now, I think. But I think both.
Steady.
I think both will be very, very fondly remembered.
for those of a certain vintage, I always thought that the Scott Sinclair song should have been for Tom Rogic. Beautiful, wonderful, magical, the Rogical song.
Well, there we
go. There you go. So there you go. That's why I'm the housewife's favourite, as you say. But there you go. No, I couldn't agree more. I think, and as you alluded to there, Celtic did handle it perfectly. Everything was great. The way it was all stage managed. Trophy presentation day. We said goodbye to Tom Rogic. We said goodbye to Neil Beaton. And everybody had their moment, didn't they? Mm-hmm. And all the Celtic fans had their moment to treasure with the guys and get their tears out the road before the happiness, So it was.
It did, I think
very touching.
What was notable, and this just goes back to the collective thing about Ange Postecoglou saying before the game that part of it for him is watching the players actually celebrate it, letting them see him have a smile because then they can enjoy it more and all that. Yeah. And after the game, and you could actually see it at Tannadice as well. They didn't want to celebrate with massive amounts of letting themselves really go at Tannadice, but they still enjoyed it. But you could see, and it was a pal of mine actually pointed this out, the likes of Joe Hart, the likes of a couple of the older players, Callum McGregor and stuff, making sure that other players, the likes of Greg Taylor and stuff, who don't always get the praise and stuff, got their moment up front, and whether it was on Saturday with the trophy or whether it was at Tannadice, had a wee moment of their own kind of thing. And that just ties in with the collective thing that we're always talking about.
Sean, you had translators with league winners' medals round their necks and enjoying the celebrations. I loved that. I absolutely loved that. As you say, it was a collective. It was everybody.
Yeah.
It was everybody who's been involved and played some part in this season, whether it be on or off the field. Ange and the players and everybody was saying, right, this is us. We're a group. We're a collective. We've did this. Not you, not you, not you. We've did this.
Same with the numerous Manager of the Month awards that Ange Postecoglou's won.
Yeah, he always got
different members of the backroom staff in the picture, all that kind of thing. I noticed after the game when the players were away getting their kind of it's not so much the lap of honour at that point, but had just come off the kind of the platform and were making their way around and celebrating and stuff. Ange Postecoglou asked the coaching staff to go up for a picture, John Clark and stuff, all of them up onto the platform for their own picture as a staff and stuff. Is it common? It probably is at a title party, but I still think it all comes into that kind of pulling for the collective and all that. I think you can see it from the way they celebrate as much as the way they've approached the game as well. I hate using this word because it's because I watch so much basketball, I think, but the culture that is instilled within that dressing room, you can see it playing out there.
Yes. So what next, Sean? What happens next for Celtic?
Well, he spoke about maybe enjoying the rest of that day before he started thinking about it, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Callum McGregor as well.
Tomorrow.
Callum McGregor finally going to get a week in the sun, he said. Before he's going to go and play for Scotland. He won't get that much of a rest, but it's more of a rest than he's accustomed to. But I mean, Ange Postecoglou's mentioned a few times about working on things in the background and all of that. So I think you trust him on that front. And I'm not going to get into it today because it's a very positive briefing today, but you know where I stand on the kind of the structure behind the scenes and what actually still needs to happen there. As much as it's going to be framed around Ange, it needs to be a longer term thing, but we can leave that for another day. We've got plenty to come during the summer. We can talk about that, and I can make your ears bleed with that for an episode probably. But no, it's
we've got a few weeks to fill in, Sean, so save the best. So.
But no, I mean, even the way he spoke after it, you got the impression he wasn't going to be beating about the Bourgeois that much before he started thinking about the team for next season. But there's a comment come up here. Alex, Ange's post-match words should have made a top-tier WWE promo. Really, the crowd in the palm of his hand, to be fair to him.
Of course he did, to be fair. But the reason he had the crowd in the palm of his hand is because that's the way he's spoken all season. Yeah, you've embraced me, you've embraced my family, you've even embraced the jumper. I mean, he just has a way he has a way about him, and he has a way with words as well.
Yeah.
And he has ignored all the noise, Sean. All season, he just did his own thing, and I think he himself referenced that he and the players have been tunnel visioned.
Yep.
And I think you've got to salute that and applaud that and say, yeah, because if he had of like external influences or external influence, or external influence outside get to him, then he might have had a wobble himself, but he hasn't. He's just been so steadfast in his beliefs and what he was trying to do, and he got the buy-in from the players. Callum McGregor mentioned it as well, and they have been tunnel-visioned and just concentrating on winning the title, and you have to say they did it in some style.
They did, aye, and as Tim and on there saying, even Matt O'Reilly's granny was on the pitch and enjoying the celebrations. It was superb. It was just even the way that, I mean, you're saying tunnel vision. I used that phrase, must have been a month ago now, that it was paying off having that tunnel vision, because it does mean that even if you're not playing your best, that you know what you're trying to do. And he's mentioned that more than once, that has paid off.
Yeah.
And it was as much about, you mentioned buy-in as well, it's as much about the players understanding that, and again, this is something I've said hundreds of times this season, but they will know if they play that way and it doesn't pay off, they're not going to get thrown under the bus in the post-match comments for it. It's going to be his fault because he's told them to do that way. So therefore, they're almost got freedom to do it because they know it's not their responsibility if it's gone wrong, that kind of thing. And I think you see that paying off on a weekly basis, as it's been the last few weeks. So, it's brilliant. It was honestly the ideal, and as I say, the ultimate compliment for the way that they did it in the last day of the season, for the fans as much as for Ange Postecoglou as well, but particularly for him.
Yeah. Now, comment coming in, and well, when the fans praise it, so well deserved for a class act. And I was just going to flick up another comment here, Sean, because I wanted to ask you, Pete McGee, can't wait to see a bigger and better Celtic's going to look like next season. What do you think that will look like, Sean?
I don't know if you could hear my dog there. He's obviously disagreeing with that comment. No, I just kind of what I've said recently. Like, I think maybe 4 or 5 real quality signings, not squad filling signings, and then quite a few going out. Because as I say, they've used 37 players, 36 players this season. Probably don't have to have used that amount. It was partly the squad depth, it was partly the players they inherited, it was partly not getting other new signings in until January. But I think you'll be looking, I mean, Rogic and Beaton have both played a big part this season. Both are already leaving. You'll be looking for, I mean, James Forrest signed a new deal. No matter what you think of that, he'll need to be playing a bigger role than he played this season with the deal that he's signed. But I think 4 or 5 quality signings, hopefully that would include Jota and Carter Vickers, given we're going to be doing our power rankings. That'll be maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. There's every chance that we'll have, because I've not actually updated the spreadsheet, so there's every chance one of them is going to come out as our site's best player this season, and both of them are loan players, so that obviously needs addressed. In terms of the bigger part, if this is what you're getting at, Pete, I think they do need a wee bit more athleticism, especially for when they compete in Europe. Again, and I know you're sick of me saying it, but they need to marry that athleticism with technical quality, because otherwise the guy will just get lost in this team, I think. It's interesting. It's going to be, despite the fact it's not going to be a summer where you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants wondering what's going to happen next in terms of what's going to happen at the Champions League qualifiers. Is Beaton going to be playing centre half again, all that kind of thing? It's going to be an exciting summer, I think, because there's going to be all these kind of ins and outs. There's going to be a lot of how does certain people fit the system? Is there any tweaks to the system? All of that kind of thing. It's going to be exciting.
Sean, I mentioned in the piece on Friday when Rogic and Beaton were leaving that one of the 3 certainties in life has now been removed: death, taxes, and near Beaton playing in the Champions League qualifiers. That's gone. That's been removed from this summer. So that'll be that'll be an indication of a bigger and better Celtic, because I think they'll be well prepared. I also had to say that they're tooling up for the Champions League. I think the board are going to back, and certainly for this first tilt at it, because Matt O'Reilly said it the other night after Tannadice, and I said to you, alluded to it, that it could have been the manager speaking. They want to play in the Champions League, want to win games. The manager's the same. It's not just about, because he was talking, we standing beside Martin O'Neill on Saturday when he's been interviewed, and he said it's not enough to get there. You have to make an impact. And he pointed to Martin O'Neill like this man, he said. And Martin O'Neill was just like, yep, indeed, that's good luck with that, and hopefully you do well. But that's the way he's thinking. He's thinking already about next season. He's thinking about the Champions League groups. He's thinking about the players that he's going to bring in. And we've agreed on this, that we reckon there's going to be 4 or 5 quality players come in, as you say. He's got his eyes on guys who can comfortable playing the system, have that athleticism, have that dynamism without, upsetting the team flow.
Yep.
Fit in seamlessly. That's the way I see it as well. We're just amateurs at it. Andy's a professional, but as he said, your man in Clairefontaine told him, when you know, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he knows what he wants for his team. So he'll already know what he wants for his team. Now we hope that team will feature Carter Vickers and Jota, but if it doesn't, you'll certainly have a plan B in that sense. You'll have contingencies there, and they'll be working on that right now, I would imagine.
I think so. I'm going to put this up. I'm not going to answer because I think this could actually make a potentially could make the crux of an episode for. I saw that.
I noticed that.
That's a good shout for an episode, I think.
Okay.
And by the way, spare a thought for Rab, because he was saying 5-0, 5-0, 5-0 all week, and then Big Yakimakis with the 6th just to take it away from him at the last minute.
Well, there you go. But yeah, we'll have a go at that, Rab. Here's hoping the stats team is not the same as the iTest team, which we've. What did we get on Saturday? 10 out of 11.
10 out of 11. Nice. It wasn't too bad for after the derisory attempt during the week.
What, 7 was it?
I think so.
But yeah, but no, I think just the joy, Sean, that this weekend has brought to Celtic supporters. I spoke to my father, and he was quite emotional about it all as well, and he's not an emotional guy in that sense, but he loved Celtic Park on Saturday. He said it's the best it's been he felt it's the best it's been in a long, long time, and I think a lot of the supporters felt that way just because of the starting point, what we've spoken about many times, and just the fact that it was so unexpected. It's just the unbridled joy that people experienced on Saturday, and then they went out into different parts of Glasgow. You saw the pictures just celebrating something that they believed was wonderful.
True. David Gillespie head still a bit sore, and it was a perfect day. I think that speaks for a lot of people, I would say. You mentioned post-match there. We might as well mention after the match, if you want a good take on the celebratory scenes around the likes of Merchant City, etc., then I would urge you to log on to the website and read Kevin McKenna's piece that went up this morning, which I've made free as well. It's not behind the paywall. That went up this morning. He treats, I'll put the link in the comments as well, actually, but he treats what I would call attempts to undermine the celebrations or to put it on par with certain scenes from perhaps a year ago with exactly the tone it deserves. So I would urge you all to go on and have a read of that. You enjoyed it as well, didn't you?
Really good. Yeah, indeed. And it sums it up, I guess, perfectly. But to be fair, I just, Twitter and social media was just full of happy Celtic fans, Sean. They were delirious with happiness, and they're just hoping now, like everything else, they now want to see a bigger and better Celtic, as the manager has alluded to.
Yep. And it's I'm not just saying it because obviously we'll be here every day during the summer, and I want you all to stay, but it will be exciting. I think this summer is an exciting time. It's just last summer there was the confusion, there was the Eddie Howe stuff, there was Ange Postecoglou getting appointed, there was the numerous recruitments, and you're not sure how much was actually planned in advance, or that kind of thing. Contrast that with the January window where it was clearly planned, it was clearly done early. They all, Ideguchi aside, has still to kind of make his mark, but the rest all made their mark right away, were obviously good additions to the team. And given that it's going to be another January, it's not going to be another last summer that we're faced with this summer, I think it's exciting because you'll just see so much more of what Ange Postecoglou is trying to put in place with the signings that come in, with the way that they're getting integrated. The pre-season will tell us a lot. All of that. I genuinely think it's an exciting time.
Well, I think we'll take on board the words of the manager, Sean. We'll get bigger, we'll get better over the summer because we never stop, and we're not going to stop over the summer. We'll be with you all day, guys, every day. With the
not all day, every day. We're not going to
not all day. Every day, 10 o'clock bulletin, and we're looking forward to it. We'll have all sorts of things lined up, won't we, Sean?
Different. Well, as as Ange Postecoglou says, we don't stop just because it's summer. Plenty planned. We'll have, as I say, we'll have our final power rankings coming out. We'll have our own kind of take on end of season awards, which I think should actually be the end of the season rather than just before the end of the season. We'll do plenty of Q&As where we'll let you guys kind of dictate the conversation. I know you like that. We'll get guest appearances on the briefing. We'll have guest columnists on the website. Might even do some quizzes, since, as Tony knows, I'm kind of obsessed with those. So there'll be plenty of stuff.
Excellent. And I say we'll just urge you once again to download the One Football app, and we thank them so much for their sponsorship. It means a lot to us at the Celtic Way one-stop football shop, the One Football app, and you can get scores, news and lineups, transfer rumours, live streaming, match highlights, and a lot more besides. You can immerse yourself in the digital football world, and it is, guys, it's one of the best personal digital football experiences out there. Download the One Football app, and we say thanks again to them for their sponsorship of the pod. And if you subscribe to the Celtic Way, run along the bottom, £3 for the next 3 months, covering the club you love. You know what to do, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. You'll see the pod videos like this, columnist analysis, data, stats, charts from Sean, you name it. Pieces that might make you Greek from myself, or just make you cry in general. But that's neither here nor there. But no, it's just everything that we hope that the Celtic supporters like and they want to engage with. Tim and comes in, love the Celtic Way content this season. Great work, people. That's very kind, Tim. We really appreciate that.
We do, definitely appreciate it.
Everybody coming on at 10 o'clock and posting in their comments in the comment section and getting involved. It's myself and Sean love nothing better. I think I'm both, because I'm the old man of the two of us. Rav, Statler and Waldorf, but there you go. Yes,
we do. We very much appreciate it. On a serious note, appreciate all the subscribers to the website. Appreciate everybody that watches us every morning. I mean, we've only started this season, so we appreciate you, one, giving us a chance, and then two, sticking with us as well. I think we're approaching something like 650,000 YouTube views, which is just insane to think on, Tony. But it's very much appreciated, and people like David Gillespie, we know this is what a lot of people, whether it's watching it live or whether it's later on, will watch this in the morning, and it's very much appreciated.
And you know, we try not to take life too seriously either, Sean, do we? We like to poke fun at ourselves, as Rab McCune there calling us basically a pair of muppets. So I don't think compliments come any higher than that, to be honest. You know, cheers, Rab. And we feel we've got to know a few of you guys that in the comments, and we want to get to know more of you. So you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, and you'll see this, because it is fun, Sean. Talking about the club that everybody loves, and the fact that we are now champions makes it all the more sweeter. Thank you, Caroline. That's very kind. Fabulous season. One of the best chat for Celtic. Again, thanks. Well done, lads. Hail, indeed. Listen, we couldn't do it without you, to be honest. And that 650,000 YouTube hits is, that's news to me. So thanks for that, Sean. That just kind of, that's a bit wow. That's a bit a wee bit. So there you go. But yeah, it's been a cracking season. It helps when the team turn it on, Sean. Yeah.
Yes, it certainly does. It does. I
would like to have seen the pair of us last season try to do this every morning at 10 o'clock after A&R result. But yeah, but no, it's been wonderful. It's been cracking to just chat it from day one, and and I'll admit that my initial skepticism has been certainly blown away and won over. You know, so, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that, but I've owned that, and I say thank you to Ange and the players for what they've provided this season. It's been a wonderful watch.
Yep. Can't disagree with that. And as I say, I don't want to sound too much as if this is like the end of the season for us, because we've got hundreds for you, but just because it's the final kind of post-match, if you know what I mean.
They're stuck with us, Sean. We know that.
We're going nowhere,
whether they want to or not, they're stuck with us. But no, we do. It's not just words, because as Sean said, we started this up this season, and we can't believe the kind of heights that it's reached so far. And we hope, as Ange says himself, and for ourselves to get bigger and better. And we're just humbled by those comments coming in and people saying that they enjoy it. And it's part of their daily routine. It's you have no idea how it makes the likes of Sean, myself, and Alison and people involved feel. It's just nice to read that. Coffee,
that's the ideal way to end it. There. That's the whole
the
Trinity.
3 C's. But as Anne says, we never stop. We won't stop over the summer, guys. See you tomorrow. Hope those hangovers are still there and you're enjoying it. It's just going to be a wonderful summer. Smiling and here's hoping that Celtic do get bigger and better. We'll see what it brings. Yep. Thanks, Sean, for your contribution. Always top class. Cheers guys.
Cheers, guys.